Big local district race in Hampton Roads and ballot issues. Here are the results in the 2nd District. Scott Ridgel won against opponent Suzanne Patrick.
By a sizable margin there. But the big story besides the Ridgel victory tonight, which was expected, voting issues. 10 to your side's Jason Marks is live from the Scott Ridgel campaign in Virginia Beach. And what did Ridgel tell you about the ballot issues today?
Well, Tom, this should have been a celebration, a third win for Scott Ridgel, but it really was surrounded in controversy. That controversy started early this morning at the polls. Now, let's show you some video that the Ridgel camp sent us. This is from Tallwood Elementary, and you can see what was happening here at the machines. People were trying to punch in Scott Ridgel's name, but it was going to his opponent, Suzanne Patrick. We're told this happened at 43 precincts in Virginia Beach. That's quite a few. Scott Ridgel wants to know how this could happen. He said at 12:30 this afternoon, he actually started to ask for paper ballots. They were not used. At 4:30 then, there was a conference call. Scott Ridgel was on that call. Also, the State Board of Elections, the Attorney General of Virginia was on that call. Scott Ridgel says he once again asked for paper ballots. It did not happen. Now, he just wants to know what happened here. He says this really isn't a party thing. He says it's not a Scott Ridgel thing. It's not a Suzanne Patrick thing. It's a voter thing. He wants to make sure people who go to the polls are making sure that their votes are correct, and this should not happen. We caught up with him, and here's what he had to say about this issue.
Here you are, you campaigned so hard, and then this happens. How concerning is it?
It is deeply troubling, and it is not a partisan issue. I'd like to think that every Democrat, every Republican, every independent, every libertarian would say this is not good. We've been in regular conversation, and sometimes spirited and perhaps even heated conversation with our local electoral officials, saying that there's a real problem here, and we need action on this. And really, I think the machines ought to be taken off to the side, the ones that we know to be defective, and they ought to be isolated so that we can really understand what was going on there, because there was...
And the congressman even threatened to take this to court. Now, he says that he's going to see this play out. He wants to see what the Board of Election does. He wants to see this investigated. If he's not happy, he says he will take this to the next level, which would be through the court process, even though he is victorious tonight. That's the latest here in Virginia Beach. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
And we had a lot of people covering this issue today. 10 on your side's Brandy Cummings spent the day looking into voting machine issues in Newport News and, of course, Virginia Beach.
Lots of concern about this. She joins us now with new information from the Wavy Newsroom. Brandy, what have you learned?
Nicole, Tom, we can tell you tonight the State Board of Elections is looking into this. You know, we had several questions for the Virginia Beach registrar about what happened today. Just moments before the polls closed tonight, she answered some of them.
The problem started early. Video shows people trying to vote, but the machines wouldn't read their choices. We took that video to Virginia Beach Registrar Donna Patterson.
Yes, I've seen that video. That was sent to me as well.
Right, so these are some of the things that we have been told that are happening. So of the 31 that were removed, what was the actual problem with those, and what's the difference between those and some of the ones like these that were still remaining in polling locations that still had these problems?
Well, ones that, like on the video there, if we had any at the polling locations that actually had that problem, those should have been removed.
31 of them were taken out of service, but others, Wavy even witnessed having calibration problems, were not.
If there are calibration issues, you
Sure.
say they should have been pulled, but who was that ultimately responsible?
Ultimately, it's our responsibility to make sure that the election officials are pulling those machines.
Patterson says the volunteer poll workers are told during training to let them know if there is a problem with the machines.
We hoped they would call us, and we did get some calls about it, not an enormous amount of calls. Really, that's just a process we follow. The voter should can let us know, as well as the election official.
Congressman Scott Ridgel calling for paper ballots and even a court order to force the city to use them, saying the voter registrar's office was not following the law.
We are following the law. The emergency procedures are in place really for when you have no voting machines.
Donna Patterson also told me she never received anything from a court before those elections closed today, so they continued using the machines. And she also says the ballots cast in those machines that were actually taken out of service will be counted tonight. In the newsroom, Brandy Cummings, 10 on your side.
And there was a lot of fallout from this today. Governor Terry McAuliffe didn't waste any time speaking out on these polling issues after our Andy Fox caught up with him.
This is important, and we can't seem to get it right election after election.
Well, I don't understand it, and we're going to get a full analysis to make sure the votes are counted accurately, but there is no excuse. People take the time and effort to go vote. They take time out of their work or their home life or whatever they have going, and we've got to make sure that everything is working smoothly. And I promise you, Andy, we're going to make sure that those votes are counted accurately. You have my word on that.